All right. How is it going? Sorry about that. I know that was a little awkward. I need to, I think I might be buying the Elgato Stream Deck soon to help me out with those transitions, so I don't have to like do it all by hand. The problem is when I'm limited in my monitor space, and I want to get like an intro playing and all this other stuff, I'd rather just have a button that just automates everything. So I am probably going to pick one of those up here eventually in the next week or two. That being said, how's it going, everyone? I hope you are having an awesome, amazing, wonderful day. I'm just going to finish setting things up here a little bit on my end, and then we're going to hit the ground running. Mostly just got to make sure I can see the chats properly is what I am worried about. So let me pop the chats out here the way that I would like them to be. Move this over here. Get the chat up. All right. Ryan, Lista, AXYS, Ultima Keymaster is here. Fool of a Took is here as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Me almost got this chat set up the way I want. Oh, I gotta go to live view here so I don't miss any notifications. Let me sure I have the Twitch chat up over on this side of things, so I don't miss out on any people watching on Twitch. All right, cool. We are good to go. So, how's it going, everyone? How's it going, Super Mario? We have a couple really, really big topics. First off, shout out to John, who has pledged $1 on our Patreon as of 5 minutes ago. I guess I'll give John a little bit of a shot here. Give me a second. Thank you so much, John, for your $1 pledge on Patreon. That does push us up to the highest number of patrons we have ever had at 57. So thank you so much for that. It also pushes us to the highest amount we've ever had on Patreon, which is now $421. So thank you for your support. All right, let's get into the big topics, right? So first, let's talk about the massive one that just landed, an hour ago or so, about an hour and a half ago. Cheers. And that is Nintendo Switch VR. It's real. It is real. Can you believe that we have Nintendo Switch VR? Like, I'm still kind of in shock that the rumor about a VR Labo kit was real. And I noted at the time when that rumor came out that I actually thought that a Labo kit would make a lot of sense. If they were going to do any sort of VR on the system, a Labo kit felt like the most honest solution, because you're not trying to tell everyone, hey, look, you're going to get true Resident Evil 7 style VR here, but you can get like an intro to VR kind of kit. Now, there obviously are some concerns. I think the biggest concern I've seen is mostly that, what are they going to do about the low resolution screen in terms of dealing with motion sickness with kids? We don't know. Obviously, we know there's lenses involved. We're not sure what those lenses do, if they take care of that. I'm sure they've done some testing on this before they ever made this publicly announced and said it's coming out in a month. So I assume that they've done some testing with the lenses that they're using to try to take care of some motion sickness. Now, here's the thing. Even in the highest grade of VR, motion sickness can happen. Bottom line is that not everyone can enjoy VR. That's just the reality of virtual reality. It is the reality of 3D movies even. When you put on those 3D glasses, not everyone can enjoy that without motion sickness. So the point is that there's always going to be some people that have motion sickness to VR and 3D. It's just 3D and VR works by tricking your brain, and some people's brains aren't tricked as well as others. And when your brain is not being tricked as well as others, that's when you get motion sickness. So bottom line is that there are just going to be some people that can't enjoy the VR experience. That's just reality. How bad it is, how much the low resolution screen makes a difference between a high resolution screen, all of that was probably taken care of in testing, as well as the lenses and any smoothing the lenses might do or whatever. Obviously, the lenses themselves can't change the resolution of the screen, but we've had VR dating way back to standard def screens, so VR is not even like this new concept. It's been around for a long time. So I don't know. We'll see. There's nothing I can really say till it's in my hands. What I can say is that VR on Switch, at least through Labo, is interesting. Now, what I find most fascinating is in all of the pictures of it here. Let me bring up a picture. I have one downloaded here. Let me move myself over a bit here and bring up a picture. Make sure I have my pictures up here. I want to show you guys what basically the big deal photo is we have for this. Actually, I think I moved the wrong direction. I want to move this way for how I have this set up. All right, let me show you a picture of what we know for the VR. There basically isn't much we know beyond what this picture says. Where is my that? All right, so as you can see in this picture, this is basically everything we know about it, besides obviously pricing and the fact there's a starter kit and a big kit and then the 2 individual kits, so it's obviously pricing. But this is essentially a summary of what the VR kit is. There's these glasses. There's the lenses I was talking about. You know, this is the one with the Joy-Cons on the side there's actually another photo that shows a kid using the Joy-Cons on the side. That feels a little awkward to me, but whatever. What is notable is we did not see a single VR experience that had the Joy-Cons detached and held in each hand like traditional VR. So is there not a traditional VR experience? I don't know. What you do notice in all these photos, though, there is no strap. Nowhere do you see a strap going around the person's head or going over the top of their head. Every single VR experience involves the kids holding the headset to their head. Even here, there's a handle so you can hold it to your head. Here, the Joy-Cons are up here, and you're probably going like this, flapping, to hold it to your head. Look, the gun is literally attached to the headset, so you hold it to your head. A camera, again, hold it to your head. This, whatever he's doing in this right here, hold it to your head. Everything about this VR experience is holding it to your head. Now, that isn't to say there isn't a strap. I did note that if you look at right here, this little gray dot, I don't know how well this is showing up with my mouse, and right here, this little gray dot here, those are like little holes that are probably holding some sort of padding. I wonder if those holes also are for a strap that you can snap in and then put around your head. So there might be a strap. There might be a thing to hold it to your head, but they're not showing it off in any of the photos. And because there's not really a trailer or anything showing off how this VR stuff works, there really isn't much we can go on here. We're just kind of guessing at this point. Obviously, these plastic bits that stick out, because we also see the yellow one here, is also about holding the lens kit to the cardboard. But again, it does also open the possibility that there's a snap-in strap. So there might be a strap, but none of the photos show one, so that is notable. But yeah, I mean, you also get kind of a look at what some of this stuff might be. Like I noted in my video that, you know, oh, you're an elephant, so maybe you're spraying water. But what do we see down by the elephant? We see drawing. So is the elephant holding like a pencil and you're able to draw? Is it like a 3D drawing application? I don't know. We see up here with the gun, we see a missile. Obviously, we know it's a shooting game. We don't know what kind of shooting game, but you'll be shooting missiles, clearly. This one shows where they're looking at like outer space with planets and aliens and stars. So I think this is more like a look around you kind of experience. Like, have you guys ever done those star domes at school where you go inside the dome and you can like look at the galaxy and stuff? It's actually really cool. One of my favorite things from science class as a kid. Well, this might be like that kind of experience. Here we see, you know, obviously the camera. The camera thing's actually been around for a while, but now obviously a VR style camera. And behind him, we see some fishes, some sharks. So I'm wondering if like this application is where like you're, exploring a coral reef and you could take pictures. I think that's kind of cool. I also really want them to release a Pokemon Snap application. I know they're not going to, but I'm going to keep the dream alive until Nintendo just officially kills it. Beyond that, let's see here. Someone has to make the image bigger. I can, I guess. There you go. Is that big enough for you? They also have this bird, which clearly looks like there's Joy-Cons in the wings, I'm assuming. However, we also saw the bird in another image that I don't have right now, where the person was using the bird with a combination of a pedal, and obviously the pedal had one of the Joy-Cons in it, so I'm not sure exactly how that works, but obviously I assume you are the bird, so you are flying, and you get to fly. So I think that's kind of cool. So those are like applications we could think of right now. There's obviously the fact that, that there's another picture that's not shown here where the kid has the headset on his head and he's actually playing with the Joy-Cons attached to it. I don't know what he's playing, but there's also the fact that this is a VR cardboard, Google Cardboard style headset. And because of that, technically there's not any reason that you couldn't just load up anything on Switch and use it with the headset. So is it possible to do like a movie theater style thing with YouTube and Hulu? It obviously should be possible. I don't know why this wouldn't be able to do that, but I'm not sure how their lenses are working exactly, but that's a possibility that you could do a movie theater mode. There's also no reason that you technically couldn't make it like a movie theater Breath of the Wild. No, you're not getting 3D Breath of the Wild, 3D Mario Odyssey, but you could get potentially a movie theater style playing experience with those games. Because really, you should be able to use anything on Switch with the actual headset. It's just, unless there's a VR specific mode for those things, they're just going to be flat images. But you can still get that movie theater-like experience, which I know some people, not everyone, but some people really love. So the better question I have then is, what do you guys think? My mind is racing over Nintendo VR. I've never been a huge fan of VR in general, but I think an intro to VR, build it yourself kind of kit is kind of cool. Obviously, Google's done a similar thing with Google Cardboard, but this is obviously going much further than that since you're creating the VR control systems to actually control all the various applications, which adds a little bit of fun, I think, to the equation. And I will test out the VR with at least my 2 older kids. I'm not sure that I'm going to let my 3-year-old try it, but Aiden, my 5-year-old, and my 8-year-old daughter, Melody, they'll get to try it out. Maybe we'll do like an impressions video on that stuff, and I'll do all the VR stuff as well. The problem is when I talk about this, I can really only talk about impressions. I can't show a lot because I don't have one of those Nintendo Switches that's modified like Digital Foundry has to run a video feed from it in portable mode. So I'm just going to have to do the best I can to explain and show off the experience of playing those games. I'm sure hopefully at some point Nintendo will have some stock footage up that maybe we could use as a media member. That would be nice to kind of explain the experience as you get to look at it before. Now I've used traditional VR before. I've also used like the Samsung VR where you put it in the plastic headset, which is what Switch is more like. This is not going to be like traditional VR because traditional VR is much more engaging because you're not just staring at a flat panel that has all the tech in it, right? Like you're combining tech of a headset and a standalone box and all that. But what's just really cool about this is that you can actually get some really cool VR experiences. There's some VR games on the App Store. There's virtual reality movies. There's 3D movies you can watch if you have the headset. So there's some cool applications that could come into play with this. But for now, it's just a do-it-yourself VR kit. There is by the way, they did say that there's a garage mode for like Toy-Con Garage is coming to this as well, and there will be a VR portion to it. They said it will have a limited tool set at launch, but obviously, they have to limit what we're able to do because they have to keep it within the limitations of what Switch can do. But I think it's cool. As someone who doesn't even like VR, I think this is cool. So let's see what some of you guys are thinking. Ultimate Keymaster says he hopes Labo VR blows open the door for people to implement it elsewhere, even if Nintendo themselves might limit it to just Labo officially. Yeah, obviously there's an ability to do VR on the Switch. I think we've known that for quite a while, but no one could really think why it would make sense. I guess we'll see if this headset of sorts can make any sense. I don't know till we put it on. The biggest thing for a lot of people is going to be that's a really low resolution screen. So we'll see how Nintendo decided to combat that with those lenses, because there's no detail on the lenses and how this works. Let's see here. Parts of the kit were in the original Labo trailer. Yep. The camera specifically, I remember being in the original Labo trailer. The pedal, we've had the pedal for a while too. Let's see here. I'd worry about the Switch tablet being stable in cardboard like this, but if anyone can figure it out, it's Nintendo. I think the Switch will be stable. I worry about kids dropping it, because if you have to hold it to your head, it means like if your arms get tired holding it, like isn't there a drop potential there? And I'm assuming that they've probably done some drop tests with it in the actual cardboard thing to know if it can survive some drops, but still. Jack NGO hits us with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Jackie, my boy. And he says, if we ever get Pokemon Snap Remake or Pokemon Snap 2, I'm buying this. There's some people that also I saw mentioned in the comments on my video that saying that, hey, this is actually an opportunity for Nintendo to re-release Virtual Boy games. And I'm just going to say this right now. Outside of people just being generally curious about how Virtual Boy games played, the fact that anybody wants to play Virtual Boy games is shocking to me. I have played Virtual Boy. Cheers. I didn't own it, but I was at someone's house who had it. And tennis is the only passable game. All the other Virtual Boy games are garbage. Like Hotel Mario, Wand of Gamelon types of garbage. Like, they're just garbage. They're trash. They're horrible. They're like the worst. But Pokemon Snap, like, come on. Pokemon Snap makes so much sense. I've been thinking that ever since they showed off the camera with the Labo kit. I'm like, oh my gosh, if they could turn that camera into a Pokemon Snap thing, holy crap. Like, but you know, we're pipe dreams. Pipe dreams. So thank you for your $5, Jack. Also, thank you to, is that a Chinese or Japanese symbols? I don't know. Someone just subscribed. Thank you so much for subscribing. I'm sorry, I can't read that language. So, Ariel Lazarus says that she is indifferent about it. VR and 3D stuff has always made me sick. Okay, so it's not really going to be your cup of tea. I wish I could do Oculus stuff. It's just expensive. It is. The Vive stuff's actually making some nice advances too, but again, it's really expensive. PlayStation VR is probably the easiest one to get into, but it's still pretty pricey if you actually want to fully get into it, especially if you don't already have the Move controllers and stuff like that. Even though some games you can use the DualShock with or whatever. Yeah. Hope maybe in the future Nintendo will go full in and actually create a plastic headset for the Switch. By in the future, I mean in the next generation of Switch, probably. I mean, it looks like that the actual lens itself is all plastic anyways, and the cardboard is just like an enclosure that goes around it. So basically, it's already a plastic headset is what I'm kind of getting at here. That's just covered in cardboard. But yeah, I think Nintendo will make one. If not, I'm sure some third-party retailer, once they get their hands on the kit and see what kind of lenses Nintendo is using, will replicate those lenses and put it in a more comfortable headset form. I guarantee that's going to happen. A third-party company is going to rip it off and make a comfortable one this generation. And who knows? Maybe I'll check it out. But yeah, it's yeah. I think the next generation, the fact that VR is even on this system tells you that the next generation of Switch, I think Nintendo's going to do even more VR stuff, especially if they get a 1080p or 1440p screen. 1440p would be sweet in the next Switch, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's see here. I'd buy Pokemon Snap 2, period. I think everyone would. What is sad that Crap Let's Go has outsold Mario Odyssey in the media create each week. I mean, Are you talking about outselling Mario Odyssey in comparison to Mario Odyssey's sales in the same sales week? Because obviously Let's Go is going to outsell Mario Odyssey in the weeks now because Mario Odyssey is over a year old and Let's Go is only like 4 or 5 months old. So, I mean, it's a newer game. Of course it's outselling Mario Odyssey week over week. I don't know that that's surprising. Unless you're like, oh, that Let's Go has outsold Mario overall in Japan. Here's a fun fact for you. A really fun fact for you. Super Mario Odyssey and Pokemon Let's Go. Pokemon's more popular than Mario. It consistently sells more copies per release than Mario does. So it really shouldn't be that surprising. And Pokemon Let's Go is really, really good. Like, really good. I know the haters are going to scream at me about that opinion, but it's really damn good. Like, there are things in it that aren't happening or don't appear to be happening in Sword and Shield that are kind of a letdown because it was really good in Let's Go. Anyways, talk about that another time. We're not here to talk about Pokemon. Let's see here. Odyssey was made to be the best Mario game in years. Let's Go was made to make a few extra bucks off of some Go players. For starters, that's an interesting perspective. Again, that saying that Odyssey was made to be the best Mario game in years. There are people that like 3D, 3D World better than Odyssey. There are people who like New Super Mario Bros. U better than Odyssey. There are people who like Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle better than Odyssey. Myself included, by the way. So, like, you could say it was made to be the best in years, but really it was just another 3D Mario game. The Cappy was like the revolutionary thing. Everything else about Super Mario Odyssey isn't really that revolutionary for Mario. It's just Cappy. So, I mean, it's a really, really damn good Mario game, and it might be one of the best Mario games ever made. But it's still like, it's not that revolutionary. It's just another 3D Mario game. We just haven't had one since Galaxy 1 and 2. That's all. It's just been a long time. It being a long time doesn't mean it was made with the intent to be like, you know, the best Mario game in years. Like, best Mario game is so subjective. So subjective. Like, some people like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe way the hell more. Like, the best Mario game in years is so subjective. We got to be a little careful when you talk about that. That's a personal opinion. Anyways, Let's Go is made and make a few extra bucks off some Go players. And the Let's Go players basically admit this. I play Let's Go, and I don't really play Pokemon Go. So it was made to introduce people to Pokemon, or in my case, bring me back to Pokemon. Thanks to Let's Go, I'm buying Gen 8. If Let's Go didn't exist, I don't know if I would have picked up Gen 8. So, I don't know what to tell you, man. I have different opinions than you. It's okay. We'll just wait till we start talking about Sonic later. I have probably different opinions than 95% of the people in this chat on Sonic. So, yeah, you can redo Virtual Boy Wario Land, though. That's fine. Do you think a third-party Switch games will try to implement the VR feature? I don't think there'll be many. Maybe a couple indie games if Nintendo allows it. We had a $5 super chat from Jack and Jill again. And he says, I thought the same with the reveal trailer and the camera. I've only tried VR for phone one time, and I was smash drunk at the time. That was interesting. Yeah. Obviously that's a... I don't know. You try it when you're sober and see what you think. It's depending. There are some good VR applications and games on phones, but and that's a good idea to get what it will be like on Switch. Except your phone has a higher quality screen probably, so it's just gonna look better on your phone. But cheers. PS4 VR was always pricey because you need to buy 2 controllers and you need another smaller screen. The Switch, though, already has a screen and 2 controllers. It's just that damn resolution. PS4 VR, you don't need to buy the Move controllers. The The Move controllers are nice to have, but there are many games that you can just use the PlayStation 4 DualShock controller. You don't have to buy those to enjoy VR. But it's a better experience if you have them, yes. All you had to do is buy the headset to go with the PlayStation 4. Solutions like that have proven to always be better than the all-in-one drop a phone or drop a tablet into a headset situation. PlayStation 4 VR is way the hell better than VR on my phone and VR on the Switch. Like, it just is. It's pricey, of course, in comparison, but you get a much better VR experience for it. So, I mean, is it any less pricey for Switch? You have to buy a Switch, and then you have to spend $80. Or I guess you can spend $40 to get the headset. So you still have to spend extra. But, I mean, it is still cheaper than PlayStation. Wasn't it like $200 or $300 for the headset? I forget what the headset goes for these days. And what it was at launch for PlayStation 4 VR. But isn't every game made to be the best of their series? I don't know. I'm not in the. Here's the thing, Peter Alicart. I'm not in the development room with Nintendo. I don't know what their aim is with their games to be the best in the series. I don't even know that Nintendo thinks in line with, oh, I'm developing it. Like when they're making Splatoon 3, I don't know if they're thinking, man, we need to make Splatoon 3 the best in the series. I think they're just thinking, hey, we need to make Splatoon 3 the game we want it to be. And whatever that is, I just hope to achieve it. I think that's the way they do it. Jack and Jill says he enjoyed Let's Go. That's cool. Pokemon is seriously popular, and Let's Go appeals to more than the casual Pokemon fans and the Go fans. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, someone who really used to be annoyed at Let's Go, I was wrong. I liked it. Yeah, dude, Let's Go, it's good. It's a good game. We could talk that lazy cash grab. Like, can't help it. It's good. I don't know what to tell you. Then again, you guys heard my opinions on the 8th generation already, so. All right. Should we get into some controversial stuff? I think we need to get into some controversial stuff, don't you? Give me a second to reset some things here, because for some reason my computer is not listening to me. Okay, computer, when I tell you to open something, open it. I don't know why it does this sometimes. So let me just open this. All right. So let's talk about Sonic, shall we? Everyone wants to talk about Sonic, right? Oh, let me get the design on the screen here. There it is. All right. Whoops. All right. Oh, let's go this way. Let's talk about Sonic. A couple things to talk about. This is the image that was leaked yesterday. In addition to some art pieces. Let me get those art pieces up here. We got this. So we had this. That was one art piece. Jack and Jill hit $2. Burn it with fire. Burn it with fire. Okay. We're gonna talk about this here. There's this, and there was another one where like he was holding a ring in an art piece, and then this is the one that leaked today, right here, where it appears like he's running in the rearview mirror or so. I don't know. I'm not sure. Apparently, oh, that's really tiny for you guys. Can I zoom in on this? God, it's tiny. Look at that. Don't view actual size. Zoom to fit. Really? That's zoom to fit? Let's resize this bad boy. Custom dimensions. Let me get this blown up for you guys. 3160. Is it blowing up? Why isn't that blowing up? Whatever. Here. This was what was leaked today. Where Sonic's running. It looks like in a review mirror or something. I'm not exactly sure. And apparently this is a part of an upcoming media event. Someone said Control Plus. I'll try Control Plus here. Oh, there we go. That still only will let me go so big. That's so dumb. Whatever. Get that $2 shot in there. And we have another shot from Nick Figure. Says, I'm not poor anymore. Here's some money. Thanks, man. First off, cheers, Jack. So here's the deal. I like the Sonic design. Obviously, I made a video saying I like the Sonic design, and I explained it. But one thing I want to address in the Sonic design, this is something that I got in a small debate on Twitter about, and I want to talk about it now because I think that this is a very important thing to talk about. Someone mentioned on Twitter to me, and he's not the only one, I've seen this on my video as well, that the design is disrespectful to the creator of Sonic, and that the creator of Sonic should have been consulted. And the fact that the creator of Sonic was not consulted on the design choices for this movie is a complete lack of respect and an insult to the people, to this particular person who created Sonic. And the person that people are talking about in this case, and bring his name up, is Yuji Naka. So, fun fact about Yuji Naka is Yuji Naka has not worked at Sega since 2006. Yuji Naka left Sega in 2006 to found his own independent game company called Probe. In fact, you don't believe me? Let me show you the Wikipedia page quick, and let me blow this up for you. So this is the guy that everyone is saying that this design disrespects because he was not consulted. He left Sega in 2006 to found Probe, an independent game company. As of January of last year, he works at Square Enix. This is the person that everyone is saying should have been consulted. Here's the deal. I don't care that Yuji Naka doesn't like the design of Sonic. He should not have been consulted because he has not been consulted on the design of Sonic for 13 years. It's been 13 years since this guy had a say on anything Sonic the Hedgehog related. He has nothing to do with Sonic. He has almost been not involved in Sonic the Hedgehog longer than he was involved with Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it's been so long since this guy was even relevant to Sonic the Hedgehog. If you're mad that he wasn't consulted for this movie design, why were you not mad that he wasn't consulted for Sonic Boom? Why are you not mad that he wasn't consulted for all of the Sonic games the last 13 years? He wasn't consulted for any of those redesigns of Sonic. Not a single one of them. So why are you now mad? It's because now it's a design that everyone universally hates, and so much so, this guy came out and said he doesn't like the design. That's why, because now you don't like the design. So he doesn't like it, and you don't like it, hence you're saying he's insulted. He has nothing to do with Sonic the Hedgehog anymore. He has not had anything to do with Sonic the Hedgehog for so long. It would be an insult to Sega to reach out to a developer who works at Square Enix to consult on this movie. You don't do that. That's a breach of interest. He works at a competing company now. Gosh, guys. So you can hate the design. Hey, we have a new member, Bucks Bomber Games. Thank you so much for becoming a member. We haven't had a new member in a long time. So the point is, thank you so much, man. Enjoy the perks of being a new member. The point is that if you just do just a little bit of research, all it took was one Google search. You don't even need to know the guy's name. Just look up creator of Sonic, and there he is. Click on his name, and bada bing, bada boom, you find out this information. That Yuji Naka literally has nothing to do with Sonic the Hedgehog anymore. So no, he should not. He absolutely should not have been consulted. This would be like saying George Lucas needs to be consulted on all Star Wars movies. Even though George Lucas sold Star Wars, has nothing to do with Star Wars anymore, Disney rejected George Lucas' advice, and George Lucas has spoken out saying he doesn't like the direction of the current Star Wars movies. Where's the outrage that Disney is not consulting with George Lucas? Where's the outrage on this? Nobody cares. George Lucas gave up his rights to be consulted on Star Wars. And people seem to like the new movies. So because they like them, they care less that George Lucas doesn't. If you would have liked this Sonic design and Yuji Naka didn't, you wouldn't give two craps what Yuji Naka said. All the people that are saying that this is an insult and he should have been consulted, if you would have actually liked the design, you would not give two craps what Yuji Naka had to say about it. But because you don't like the design, and he happens to not like the design, you think it's an insult. There's no disrespect here. There's no personal angst. He has nothing to do with Sonic anymore, just like George Lucas has nothing to do with Star Wars anymore. He shouldn't be consulted because he hasn't been consulted for 13 years. Why would they reach out to him now after 13 years on a design choice when he hasn't been reached out for any of the redesigns of the Sonic series over the years? So that's kind of my 2 cents on that front. Now, when we get into the actual do you like the design or not, because that's a personal opinion, obviously. Most of the internet seems to hate the design. I know this. I understand this. I understand my opinion is unpopular. I'll bring up the photo that everyone references again, because this is the one that makes people cringe a little bit. Let me see here. Let's go with display capture. And where's the photo? All right, there. Actually, I wonder if I can... I'm going to see if I can crop this a little bit, make it easier to make bigger. Let me add a crop here. Crop. Let's bring in the left by 500. Yeah, I better go more than that. Let's go like 1,200. Screw it. Let's go 3,000. Nope. 2,000. Nope. 1,500. Eventually I'll get it here. So that's the left. Let's go in the right. It's close. There we go. Let's do that. All right. So this is the design that is being pointed out more than any of the others. Any of the run behind, any of the art. If this is real. People are insulted because he has Nike shoes on. I've seen that complaint, like, oh, why is there brand placement? Well, fun fact, movies and TV are funded largely by ad revenue. And since there's no ads in movies, there's no ads in TV. Well, I guess there's ads on TV shows. But a lot of movies in particular get funding for these promotions. The idea is that you don't really notice the promotions. Like when you see a McDonald's on the street when they walk by it, guess what? That McDonald's was paid to be in there as a product placement. That Nike swoosh on his shoe, that is a product placement intended and paid for by Nike. The movie is funded in these ways. These are how movies can fund themselves for $100 million, $200 million, $500 million, $1 billion, or whatever, right? Like they are funded through these product placements. That's how this money comes into play. So I'm not really that upset that there's a Nike swoosh on his shoes. Like, who really gives a crap, right? Out of all the things to be upset about with this redesign, the Nike swoosh, really? That's what we're going to nitpick? That they're Nike shoes. Like, does it really matter? It really doesn't matter. So, here's the thing. I like the design. And here's why I like it. I explained it in... by the way, we don't know if this is real. That's one thing we should point out. These are leaks. We don't know if the leaks are real. It seems real because it kind of lines up with the poster. But again, here's my thing about this and why I like this humanoid. Basically, this looks like a guy in a Sonic costume. Does it not? I mean, this is what it looks like. This looks like a guy, like a normal human being, who put on a Sonic costume that has one of those giant Sonic heads. That's what it looks like, right? I mean, that is what this design looks like. It looks like a humanoid version of Sonic. And I think that's why people don't like it, because they're used to a shorter Sonic. They're used to a more disproportional Sonic, right? That's the way Sonic has been. Sonic's always been disproportional. The head's always been pretty much bigger than the whole body. That's kind of always been Sonic's thing. Well, the thing is, the reason I like this design isn't that I think it's like the greatest Sonic design of ever. I like it because it looks like something that Sonic has never looked before. There's no gloves. I know some people hate that. Oh, there's no gloves. Oh, he's too lanky. Oh, he's too this. He's too that. Oh, there's a Nike swoosh. Here's my thing. This is a unique version of Sonic that has never existed before. So what does this tell me? This movie is a unique part of the Sonic universe that has never existed before. And because of that, this movie stands on its own, separate from the games, separate from any books or novels or comics that might exist, separate from the animated TV show that used to be a thing. This Sonic movie stands alone. There's two reasons this is good. If the movie is bad, right? Which a lot of people think this movie is going to be bad. If the Sonic the Hedgehog movie is bad, this version of Sonic will not taint any of the rest of the Sonic franchise, because none of the rest of the Sonic franchise looks like this. So, on the positive side, for those people that think it's going to be a bad movie, you should be happy about this design for Sonic, because it cannot be related at all to the video games. Okay? Number two, if it happens to be a really, really good movie, it'll be a good movie because it is a unique take on Sonic the Hedgehog. We've never seen Sonic the Hedgehog like this. I think Sonic 06 is the closest we had to that real-life Sonic, right? You know, when he's in cities and stuff like that. So the thing is, this is, if it ends up being a good movie, this design and this character will be part of the reason that it's a good movie. I put out here's an example. Do you guys remember when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there were two like realistic movie takes on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There was the one back in the 90s, right? We all know that, the trilogy. I forget that. I think the name of the first one was just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, wasn't it? I can't remember. Maybe there was a subtitle. And then there was Secret of the Ooze, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. And then there was it Turtles in Time? I know it was a video game, but it was a time travel one that wasn't very good. And you had a feeling it wasn't going to be very good when you first saw the Turtles, and it was very obvious they weren't using Jim Henson's costumes anymore, because Jim Henson's costumes broke down, because the materials that Jim Henson used to make those costumes and make them look super realistic also was degradable. And that's part of why they looked so realistic. Some of the same techniques used to make those costumes were actually used for the animatronic dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, believe it or not. And that's why those animatronic dinosaurs even didn't last, because the skin would break down. And so that's what happened with the original Ninja Turtle costumes. Anyways, in addition to that, the third movie also didn't just have way worse costumes. It was just a really bad script. I think we all can agree the scripting on that was pretty horrible. The premise was great. The scripting was bad. Whatever. Anyways, the point is, everyone loved those versions of the Ninja Turtles because they looked like the cartoon Ninja Turtles, but they looked real, right? Like, they somehow took the cartoon and made it look like, you know what? Yeah, if the Ninja Turtles were real, like if they actually existed, if Master Splinter actually existed, if Tokka and Razor actually existed, if Shredder were real, yeah, that is what they would look like, right? If Casey Jones, if he was real, I mean, he's obviously a human anyways, that's what they would look like. If April O'Neil was a real person, like, that's what she would look like. It was really believable that even though they're taking them from a cartoon and it kind of resembles the cartoon, it also resembles what we in our imagination could see as what would be realistic Ninja Turtles. Then, years and years later, we got TMNT. They purposely used the initials, I think, to differentiate it from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo. So, TMNT, right, comes out. The movies, the real-life movies with the more CGI characters. And the Ninja Turtles look ugly as hell, right? Can we all admit that when they unveiled the TMNT Turtles, they were ugly as hell, right? Like, they were way too tall, aliens, just what was going on with Donatello, like, with all that weird, like, yeah, he's a geek, but really? They overdid the stereotype a little there. They overdid the stereotypes with all of them, if we're being completely honest. and it just didn't look good. Then the movie played, and it was good. No, the TMNT movies to me are not better than the first two original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, but it was pretty good. It was actually a pretty good movie. And then they did a sequel, and then that one was actually a pretty decent movie. So it turns out that while I hated the turtle designs, as I watched the movies, they kind of grew on me, and I realized, you know what? Those designs of those Ninja Turtles are very specific to this generation of Ninja Turtles. It is not taking over the old Ninja Turtles. It's not taking over the old video games. It's not taking over the cartoon series. What it is, though, is its own thing. And as its own thing, TMNT was pretty decent. I gotta say, it was pretty good. And that's the way I view about Sonic here. This Sonic design is different than we've ever seen, and that upsets people. It is so much different. And people have said, oh, well, there's been quick Photoshop edits that have shown he's better, where they made him a little shorter, maybe made the belly a bit more pudgier, and blah, blah. But, like, what people are doing is changing this design to look more like old school Sonic. I don't like that. Let this Sonic be his own standalone version, just like with TMNT. Let him be his own thing. Let this movie be its own thing. And if the movie ends up being really good, it'll be good in part because of the design of Sonic. I guarantee you, if the movie is good, this Sonic design will grow on you. Guaranteed. If the movie's horrible, be thankful that this is the Sonic design, so you're not thinking that the other designs of Sonic are kind of tainted by them being in some horrible thing. Like, the OG design of Sonic wasn't tainted by the cartoon series with the chili dogs and all that. You know why? Because that cartoon series is widely considered a pretty decent cartoon. Is it one of the greatest cartoon series of the 90s? No, it's not. But it's a pretty good cartoon. It lasted longer than Nintendo's cartoons did because the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons were pretty good and it didn't really taint anything. But if those cartoons were terrible, many feel like that would have tainted the Sonic series because that Sonic looked like the Sonic from the games. Now, I'll give you another example. Super Mario Brothers movie, right? A lot of people don't like it. I love the movie, but a lot of people don't. The designs of Mario and Luigi in that game are nothing like Mario and Luigi in the actual games. They're nothing, especially the actual games at that time when there was like no difference between Mario and Luigi but a color scheme. The designs of Bowser, nothing the same. The designs of Toad, the designs of the Koopa Troopa, like none of it were the same. The Goombas, like none of it was the same, right? So if that movie ended up being great, it would have been great because of how unique and different it was and how good the story was and all of that jazz, right? If it was great. But because it was bad and it looks nothing like normal Mario, it doesn't taint Mario. Do you not see why this is ultimately, I think, a good thing for everyone? Hate the design. Go ahead. So if the movie's bad, nothing's tainted by it. If the movie's great, it's because it's its own unique great thing. That's just my take, though. Of course, as always, personal opinions. This is how I kind of view the movie landscape when it comes to these video game adaptions. I like when video game adaptions of movies do their own thing, split off from the source material, and don't try to be too tight to the material, because when you are, you run the risk that if the movie's bad, there's that subconscious thing that if the movie's bad, it kind of makes me feel a little bad for the series. Whereas, like, if this movie's bad, is this suddenly going to make you feel bad for the series? No. They're just not going to do another Sonic movie. Okay. So let's see here. Sonic 06 exists. As an anime movie. Yeah. Let's see here. Sonic wearing Nikes. Yep. TMNT was the 2007 movie. Yeah, there you go. It's been a while since I've seen TMNT. I think there was two of them, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure there was two TMNT movies. Maybe there was three. Maybe it was a trilogy. I don't even remember, to be honest. I don't like them as much as the original trilogy, so I only saw them once. Let's see here. Nintendo VR equals who cares? It all comes down to the games. Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be like demo. Like all the other Nintendo Labo things were like demos for each thing. It's going to be like a demo thing. Who knows? I mean, the garage thing is pretty interesting. The fact that there actually is VR support in the garage is going to be pretty cool. Hey, Nate, I'm not much for computer tech and mumbo jumbo, but I'm trying to launch a YouTube channel with maybe some gameplay. Not too technical videos. I'm trying to figure out a desktop. Oh, are you trying to buy a pre-built or are you trying to build your own? If you're willing to build your own, if you're just doing some gameplay and stuff, there's some great. You can get a pretty great computer going for about $400 to $500. You can get like the 2400G CPU by AMD that has an internal GPU. You won't need much more than that if you're just doing straight up gameplay. If you want to get and plus, the 2400G will be plenty usable for a long time, and you can literally down the line just plug a GTX 1070 or something into it, and you'll pretty much have a better computer than what I have. So personally, I would build it yourself because you'll be able to get much more for your money. That for $500, like you can get like the 2400G with a really nice motherboard, like 32 gigs of RAM if you want, an SSD, and like a 4 terabyte drive with a nice case. You can get all of that for like $500, and even a copy of Windows. I think you could even toss that in for $500 if you know the right places to get Windows for cheap. But obviously, you might not be willing to do that. If you want a pre-built, give me a second here. Give me a second. A pre-built. Give me 1 second. I'm wondering if there's one place that I like getting pre-builts from. Let me see here. We just want this. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can get this one down to 500 for you. I'm just customizing it quick, and then I'll save it for you. That's fine. Because I really want to get you. No, that's fine. No, that's fine. Nope, they won't let me not put a GPU in it. Damn it. Damn it. Man, I really wish you would just build it yourself. It's so much better to build it yourself. But let me see if I can find something for you here. Do you want a desktop or a laptop? That's something to ask as well. Man, I really wish you would build it yourself. God. Some of this stuff is just so overpriced. For what you get. I mean, you're getting... So for $500... You could get like the 2400G with an SSD and a spinner, but you're only getting 8 gigs of RAM, which is, God, you could do so much better if you just build this yourself. How about this? DDub64, do you live in the US? Because God, I don't want to suggest you waste your money on a pre-built when you're working with a budget. If you want, maybe we can work something out where you can order all the parts and have them sent to me, and I can build it for you and send it to you. I don't know what my fee would be to build it, but if I do enough research, I could probably find all the parts you need for cheap, and then maybe only charge $50 to $100 to build it for you. I don't know, plus shipping. And I'll install Windows for you too, or at least put Windows on there, and you can do setup for it if you want. Or I could just install it for you, I guess, so I can activate it. Because like for these prices, man, here's the thing. The problem with buying like or getting a desktop on the low end is all the pre-builts are massively overpriced on the low end for what you can build on your own. Now on the high end, you know, for $1,000, $1,500, like on that spectrum of things, there are actually some pre-builts that are really close to the same price as what you could build it for yourself. But on the low end, oh my God, it's so you could save yourself, you know, a couple $100 building it yourself and get better specs. I mean, jeez. Okay. I have this old compact Windows 7 NVIDIA GeForce and Athlon 2. Do you know what GPU you have? You can run a DXDAG on your computer to see what GPU you have. That GPU might even be able to be reusable if it happens to be faster than what's on the 2400G. Then you can go with the 2200G. Because that won't bottleneck an old GeForce. But on a budget, I always suggest going for like the 2400G on a budget. You'll be able to edit videos. Heck, I mean, 2400G is better than the CPU I'm using. So I'm using an older Intel CPU, and it's garbage. I got to replace it. I need to upgrade. I just can't afford it. You have no idea about any of this shit. Just reading stickers. Don't blame you. So 2400G has integrated graphics. It means you don't have a separate GPU, but for you'll have 4 cores and 8 threads. You can get it running up to, you know, like I could probably get it overclocked to 4.2, 4.3. Might even be able to hit 4.5 gigahertz on the overclock on it. I think it comes with a cooler. I'll have to double check. It might not come with a cooler. Nope, it does. It comes with a cooler. And the default cooler is fine. You don't have to spend extra on a cooler if you don't want. Yeah, man. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, right here on Amazon, frequently bought together. Here's an 8 gig stick of RAM, the Ryzen 2400G, a motherboard. All you could do is throw in like a cheap SSD and a spinner, and you will have a computer for under $400. Heck, the old case you have, I could probably even build like whatever case you have with your current computer. I could probably like reuse that case. You don't even have to buy a new case. And it would be like $400-something. Heck, that even with me charging you $100 is a better deal than what these pre-builts are. Like, they really overcharge for pre-builts on this low end. I'm kind of disappointed how much they charge for this. See, I build myself. Like, I've been a computer tech for years. Like, I literally went to school for it. So, anyways, I guess we'll just go Q&A for a little bit. I'll give you guys 15 minutes. Q&A. Ask anything you want. Hey, Sonic Man the Best cheered me. I don't even have Twitch chat up right now. All right, Sonic Man the Best and Master of Hyrule hosting me too. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for the cheer, man. As always, I appreciate it. There's also like a lot of do-it-yourself videos if you want to actually try building your own PC. These days, building PCs are basically like adult Legos. It's really not that difficult. It's really self-explanatory. Heck, you can even go to you can even look up like a $500 PC build, and look up a 2019 $500 PC build, and then literally just follow, like, buy the exact same parts they have and follow their instructions, and it'll literally, it's just adult Legos. It's so easy. It's so easy. I'm telling you, it's not hard to, like, All the old fear that used to exist over building PCs where there like was a real legit chance of you frying computer parts and doing things wrong, that's like all gone now these days. They've made it so easy to build a PC. The BuzzFeed? You mean the wasn't BuzzFeed. What was that? The Verge? Wasn't it The Verge's PC build? Don't look up them. Don't go to them for anything PC. Go to like Jay's 2 Cents or Linus Tech Tips or Bitwit or Gamer Nexus or a zillion other tech tubers that will give you way better PC building guides. Like, it's not that hard. And then you could save money and not even have me build it for you. It's a lot easier to build computers today than it used to be. When I used to build computers in the early 2000s, it was a pain in the butt, especially if you wanted anything water cooled. Oh my gosh. Like water cooling equipment didn't even really exist back then. But all right. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Retro Cheat says, am I going to make I will do some work and look into things and get back to me. Okay, cool. You going to make lots of levels for Super Mario Maker 2 and or play fan levels? I'll play fan levels, sure. I'm probably not going to make a ton of levels myself. I'm not into like builders. I'll make a few, you know, but just like with Mario Maker, I had more fun playing other people's levels than I did making my own. So I'll definitely probably put up a challenge, probably to our patrons first. Probably do like a patron stream or something like that where our patrons can build levels and have me play it during a live stream. That's probably something I'll do for sure, because I think that would be a really neat thing to let our patrons make some levels for me. Let's see here. As for me, I upgraded my pre-built, better motherboard plus 3200 megahertz RAM, 8700. Nice, 8700 at 2070. You basically rebuilt the computer at that point. You basically rebuilt the computer. All you kept was the case and the case. Like, I'm literally looking at that right now. You upgraded your people. You have a better motherboard, plus a 3200 megahertz RAM, plus an 8700, plus a 2070, plus a 1 terabyte SSD, plus a fire cooler. You literally rebuilt. That's an entire computer, Golden Zinger. That's an entire computer. That's not an upgrade. You replaced your entire computer. You just have the same case. And I guess the same case fans, and maybe the same CPU cooler, I guess. But you basically built, that's like a whole new computer. That's all the components you need to build a computer. Anyways, Jay Rosario says, don't you think that it's possible to have both random encounters in Pokemon in city areas and on open areas like the forest caves, that big plane in the map have wandering Pokemon? Sure, it's possible, but they're not going to do it. Game Freak has never shown that kind of creativity, so I wouldn't count on that. I'd love to be wrong. It's always, like, what you say is completely possible, but until they prove it, that's just you coming up with a really cool idea. Just don't do retro videos or we're going to have a fight. I'm not going to promise that I'll never have a retro video, but I'm not a retro video game channel, so like it would be it'd probably just be a special feature video for like maybe an editorial or something. It's not something I would ever make a regular thing. I was also looking at some the whole computer is the monitor. Oh yeah, those are called all-in-ones. Where the entire computer's inside the monitor. Those aren't worth picking up. They're really not worth picking up at all, to be honest. Those all-in-one computers, unless it's that there are some really high-end all-in-one computers that offer upgradability, which is great. But they're super expensive and way overpriced compared to just building a computer on your own and getting a separate monitor. Oh, by the way, and my price assumes you have a monitor, keyboard, and mouse. If you don't, that's additional cost on top. Let me see here. Thoughts on Nintendo possibly going all digital with like a Switch Lite? I don't think it's actually going to happen, Bucks Bomber Games. Fans are just want to talk about it because Xbox is doing it. Or might be doing it. It's a rumor still. Let's see here. Where do things go? Oh, let me see here. What are you going to look forward to the most this year on Switch? Right now it's Fire Emblem. D-Dub has a local computer store. I might talk to him and see if my laptop can be of secondary use and maybe upgrade what I have. I just want to get a channel going. I got some stuff to give away. Big ideas. Nice. Yeah, I mean, you don't need a lot to get a channel going. Like, what I have right now is perfectly adequate. It's probably more than $500 still, though, especially since I have 32 gigs of RAM. But, yeah, I think you don't need a lot to just get a channel going. Now, if you want to do more, more than just light editing, like I get in some pretty hardcore editing sometimes with some special effects and stuff. That's why I want to upgrade my rig. Like, there's things I want to do that I can't because my rig just can't handle it. It just crashes. But put it this way. There's some After Effects magic I want to be using that my computer can't handle. It really makes me mad. Let's see here. Why do you think Sonic has never partnered with the Sonic Drive-In restaurant? I mean, they had chili dogs, for crying out loud. They did. I don't know. It's a really good question. That felt like a really good matchup. I don't know. Joe Schmo says, when you said you like Cat in the Hat, do you mean the Cat in the Hat? With the nasty jokes, bad actors, confusing story, and how the Dr. Seuss characters look scary? Yes. You mean the Michael Myers Cat in the Hat? The Mike Myers Cat in the Hat? Yes. That is the one I'm talking about. I was not confused by the story at all, so I don't know how you were confused by it. The story's pretty damn straightforward, to be honest. Go rewatch. It helps that I've watched it like a couple dozen times because my kids really like the movie. But it's completely different than Cat in the Hat usually is, obviously. In terms of some of the randomness in it, have you read a Dr. Seuss book? A lot of randomness in some of those Dr. Seuss books that don't necessarily make a lot of sense at times, but you just go with it because it's Dr. Seuss. Anyways, what I liked is that it pretty much was nothing like any of the books or the cartoon, because there was a cartoon for Cat in the Hat too. It was just its own thing, and I like that. I like when realistic movies that make no sense to even exist just say, screw it, we're going to do our own thing that's completely standalone, separate from everything else. And I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was charming. I think some of the bad acting it's funny because the bad acting is so intentional. Some of the actors they have in that are actually pretty good actors, but it's intentionally corny, intentionally cheesy, intentionally supposed to look like bad acting. It's actually a design element of the movie. And I love it. I just love it. It's such a unique take, and I just really enjoyed it. So, not everyone likes it though. As for nasty jokes, the nasty jokes don't bother me, man. I'm 32, and my kids don't understand the jokes at all. So like, it's one of those things that like, oh, the nasty jokes. Yeah, sure. There's like two, I would say, inappropriate jokes in the show that fly completely over my children's head. They don't understand. They don't even realize what's going on, right? So it's like, that's what I like about it. SpongeBob is the same way. Do you know how many nasty jokes are in SpongeBob? Like, completely inappropriate, should not be in a children's show kind of jokes in SpongeBob SquarePants. They're all over the place, both visually and literally in some of the words they say. But it flies completely over children's heads because they don't know any better. And that's why they can do it. And that's why it's still rated low. And that's why it can be a children's show. And that's also why SpongeBob has this huge appeal to teenagers and adults. Because it has so many adult things going on in it that you do not grasp when you were a kid. It is awesome. And that's the same thing with that Cat in the Hat thing. The jokes in it are inappropriate at times, but they're done in a way where kids have no idea what's going on. Anyways, I like the movie. I know. Again, I'm like the master of unpopular opinions with media. I like the Mario Brothers movie. I like the Sonic design. I like the Cat in the Hat movie. I'm sorry that my taste in stuff is not good compared to yours, I guess. Let's see here. Do you think Nintendo is going to become EA in 2020 now? I think what I heard from the developer Dragalia Lost told me everything I needed to know about Nintendo. It was an inside look at Nintendo's mentality that we had never really seen. And what we learned is that Nintendo desperately does not want to be lumped in with all these companies that have a bad reputation. Does not mean they won't use those business practices, but they want to be very careful in how they do it so they don't get lumped in. So that's all I needed to know. Nintendo will not become like EA, maybe ever, because I was wrong. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I was worried. That's all I was. I never said Nintendo was going to become EA in the first place. I just was worried that they could go down that route. Now I'm not worried anymore. And that's okay. That's good. That's good news that I'm not worried anymore. I'm glad that I don't have to worry about it. And even Smash Bros. Like they fixed my issues with Smash Bros. DLC too. So it's like Nintendo did everything that I wanted them to do. So kudos to them. Joy-Con Nation says, I'm playing my Xbox One X right now, Halo 5 Guardians, and I think it might be almost as fun as the Switch in a different way, you know? It's like Forza will never compare to the crazy Mario Kart 8 stuff. Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't get into the console war debate like, oh, is Switch better than Xbox? Is either one of those platforms better than PlayStation, or any of those platforms better than PC or a mobile phone? I think mobile phones, tablets and stuff like that, PCs and Macs, Xboxes and PlayStations and Nintendo systems, I think they all have viable reasons to game on them. I think they all have some really, really damn good games. I think they all have other reasons to use the platforms. And I think that they're all, I don't want to say equally great, because I obviously have my personal opinions on my preference in platforms. But I will say that they all have a place in the market. And there is nothing wrong with you enjoying your Xbox One X. I mean, I enjoy my Xbox One X. I play mostly third-party games on it, but I really enjoy the third-party games I play on it. And I enjoy that it gives me the best possible visual experience on my 4K TV without me needing to build a separate gaming PC just for my TV. So I'm happy. I'm happy with my Xbox One X. I got no complaints about my Xbox One X. So, let me see here. Well, I shouldn't say I have no complaints, but the complaints I have about the Xbox One X are just the complaints about this generation in general. I hate game installs and stuff like that, but that's just a general complaint for PlayStation and Xbox. It's not really because of the X. Adults get the jokes. Dude, I love the live action. Fun fact, the live action Grinch one, you know, the Jim Carrey Grinch movie, is my fiance's favorite movie. It's her favorite movie of all time. I really like the movie too. I also like the new animated Grinch movie, the one that came out this past winter, The Grinch. I like that Grinch movie a lot. I actually just bought it on Amazon. My kids really like it a lot too, so we bought it on Amazon the other day for we had like a little discount code, so we got it for $12. The HD version of it. I really like that version of The Grinch. Why? Because the new version of The Grinch is completely different than Grinch has ever been. And that's what I love about the new version of The Grinch. If you can't tell, I'm on this kick with movies that, like, when it's for an IP or for something that I'm well versed in, I like things that are different. So I really like that new Grinch movie. But I also like the Jim Carrey one. That had a lot of differences in it too. So, and again, my fiance still prefers the Jim Carrey one, but I mean, she likes Jim Carrey, so that probably helps. Let's see here. Is Food Fight that rated? Have I seen Food Fight? Can't remember if I've seen Food Fight. Sounds really familiar though. Sausage Party. Yeah, Sausage Party was a great movie. I remember the first time my fiance watched Sausage Party, she thought it was so inappropriate and she was disgusted by it. Then, randomly, I was watching it for like my third time, just trying to fall asleep, and she was just kind of listening to it in the background, and she started laughing. She's like, that was really funny. And then she started watching it, and she's like, okay, yeah, this is a pretty funny movie. Like, Sausage Party is a hilarious movie. Completely inappropriate. If you are a child, do not watch it. It's not, man. It's like it's a dude bro movie, man. It's the kind of jokes that like adult buddies in college are cracking to each other at the bar. But it's funny. Let's see here. Rare replay stuff on Switch would be nice. Scrolling down. Is it remotely possible to name a first-party Apple game? Does Apple even have they have first-party apps? I don't know if they have a first-party Apple game on their current devices. I think they had some basic games back on the old school Macs. But I'm not even sure off the top of my head. I'm Grinched Out. The animated movie might be good, but not in the mood. It's a good movie. I really like that animated movie. It's such a different take, and it's actually like, personally, it's not just, I don't just like it because it's different. I think it's legitimately a good movie. I don't know. Maybe one of you guys that have seen the Grinch movie could tell me what you guys thought about it. But I thought the new Grinch movie was really good. Matthew Campos, how's it going? He says, Nate, do you plan on getting Turok Remake for Switch or Xbox One X? Which platform would you prefer to play it on? Also, would you stream it? If I got Turok, it would probably be for Switch just because the Xbox version isn't really going to be that much better overall than the Switch version. Based on the fact that it's already been remastered in HD and PC, and I've seen that, it's kind of like, okay, it's not really going to look any different between the platforms. So, might as well get it on the platform that I could take anywhere. But I don't plan to pick it up, no. I had an opportunity to get it on PC. I just don't. It's a game I played the hell out of when I was a kid. And while it's in HD, it's really just like they just HD'd N64 textures. It's not like they retextured the game or anything. So it's kind of a hard pass for me. It's one of those lazy HD things that you can do with an emulator, basically. And just not really interested in that. Now, if they would have remastered it a little bit and done a whole complete retexturing of the game, they might have piqued my interest. But Joe Schmo says that I see your comment. Which one? The chat jumps around on me. Joe Schmo said that it's a bad animated movie, but what I don't see anything else scrolling up. So maybe it jumped and skipped you. I'm not sure. Joy Nation says he loves the Xbox One X. I just bought the Venom movie in Ultra HD. Oh yeah, that's a cool thing too, is that you can watch 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays on it. That it's a sick feature. I don't know why the PlayStation 4 Pro doesn't have it when the PlayStation 4 is the one, or the PlayStation is the one that gave us Blu-ray. So I don't know why they don't have a 4K Blu-ray player. Anyways, heck, the Xbox One S has a 4K Blu-ray player. Whatever. Now Xbox is sneaking to me. Here's the thing. Ever since Phil Spencer took over the Xbox division, the Xbox platform itself has kind of been doing a turnaround. Game Pass is a great deal. They have a streaming service coming that's looking promising. The Xbox One X is actually a pretty decent platform in that of itself. Yeah, the interface could use some work and all that stuff, but I mean, Xbox has kind of, in my opinion, always had an interface issue. I hate the interface on PlayStation though too, and they just don't change it. It's just at least this is one thing you can count on with PlayStation. It's basically the same interface every time. It's a DVD player interface. That's what the PlayStation is. It's a DVD player interface. Not surprising because they were making DVD players before they made systems. So, well, I don't know about before they made systems, but whatever. Anyways. It's an average to mediocre kids movie and nothing more. I don't know what you're talking about. Food Fight? You talking about? Well, Nate, your wifey will like Carrie as Dr. Robotnik, Eggman in Sonic. Well, she's not my wife, but hopefully one day. But Dr. Robotnik, yeah, we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to even be able to convince her to go. I think I might be able to convince her to go if it's like, hey, we're going to take our daughter to see the movie. Because she might be into a realistic Sonic movie. And if I can convince her to do that, then my fiance might come and see it, and then we'll see what she thinks. She'll probably like the movie. It's rare for her to watch a movie she ends up not liking. You gave me a list of worst movies ever, and do I like them? I don't see your list, Joe Schmo. Did YouTube grab your comment and get rid of it? Oh, here it is. You like Cat in the Hat, the new Sonic movie, the Mario movie, and TMNT. What would you like next? Food Fight, The Last Airbender. Wasn't a fan. Actually, I didn't mind The Last Airbender, but I don't know. I'm not really into that kind of thing. I don't know what WTGTD is. Yes, I do like Freddy Got Fingered. I thought Freddy Got Fingered was hilarious. I don't remember seeing Garbage Pail Kids. I also never said that I liked TMNT. I just said TMNT was much better than I expected. It's a decent movie. Not as good as the OG. Like the OG, the first Ninja Turtles movie and Secret of the Ooze. Like Secret of the Ooze to me is, I mean, that's right up there with Star Wars for me. Like it is in Indiana Jones. Like it's one of the all-time great movies. I swear. Like it's so good. And I know I'm a little biased because I like Ninja Turtles, but man, Secret of the Ooze is awesome. Heck, you don't even need to watch the first movie. Just watch Secret of the Ooze. It's so good. I mean, the first movie is really good too. I know that some people debate which of those two Ninja Turtle movies are better, but Nate, we watching Detective Pikachu. You know it. Think they will make a special edition Switch for the upcoming Pokemon games? Probably. All right, that being said, I got to go. I actually got to clean up a little bit upstairs before my fiance comes back from work. I need to make sure that she's not coming home to a messy house. And immediately after putting my kids to bed and after they fell asleep, I came down here to do the stream. I got to pick up some dinner stuff and other things up there. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Don't watch Ninja Turtles 3. God, I liked it as a kid, but as an adult, I realized that it wasn't a good movie. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Let me go shout out quick to all of the support we've gotten tonight in terms of the financial stuff. Let's start off here. We had a new $5 patron. Somewhere. Or wait, a new $1 patron, sorry. So we had John become a new $1 patron. Thank you. Then we had Jack with a $5 super chat. Jack with another $5. Jack with another $2. Nick Figures with $4 as well. And Sonic Man the Best giving us 1 bit. Thank you so much. We also had Grod1984 who just subscribed a little bit ago. So thanks for all that. Total support tonight equals out to $15.99. I appreciate all that support. You guys make this possible both through Patreon, through your donations, and your super chats. Without you guys, I would not be able to do this every single day. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everything you guys do for me and my family, and letting me be a full-time YouTuber. You guys are the best. I'll see you guys in the next video.